I am very warm. It is absolutely sweltering at the moment as I'm recording this video. Really humid. And in the UK, we don't tend to have air conditioners in our homes, so we're just suffering. Now, I just wanted to answer an imaginary question I had, and that is the Quest 2 still going to be worth it? The reason is the Quest 3 is about to come out. I mean, it's at the end of this month they're going to announce it. It's likely to be around sort of the 10th of October, according to leaks. So there is a very good chance that the Quest 2 is going to be the sort of bad MetaQuest headset that you can buy. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad headset. The Quest 3 is going to be a lot better, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And I sort of break down some of the things we know about it in a different video, so you can go watch that after this one. But what is that going to mean for our sort of old reliable, the Quest 2? Now, the first thing to bear in mind is that there is a price difference. Since they announced the Quest 3, the Quest 2 dropped from £399 in the UK to $299. I think that's the same in dollars in the US. Now the Quest 3 is going to be $499 or £479 in the UK. So if you're looking to buy a VR headset, you would save about 40% going for the Quest 2 over the Quest 3. And if you're at the moment in the market to buy a headset, that's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. For a little while at least. Now, if you look back over many different consoles over many different years, you tend to find that the console launches aren't necessarily a stamped point in time, but it tends to be a bit of a grey area between the two devices. So I think it's very, very likely, like for example with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4, that there is going to be a large grey area where, for example, the PS4 was still getting all the latest games and you can still play them, they just weren't looking as good. And it's only sort of now we're getting to the point where the PS4 is sort of being left out. And I think that will be the same with the Meta Quest 2. I think you'll probably find that it's going to still be supported for another couple of years. I think if you buy a Quest 2 now, you'll probably get a couple of years worth of full support, and then you might start seeing some exclusives that are only for the Quest 3. But that's going to be ages. Now, the only thing that might make me a little bit incorrect in that regard is that there are VR games already that are sort of a bit too much for the Quest 2. When you're looking at the PS4 to PS5 comparison, they were all making new games to sort of push the limits of the new console, and it took a while to do that. Whereas there's a lot of games that are available on, for example, PC VR or the PlayStation VR 2, that sort of higher fidelity, higher graphical processing powered games that just can't be standalone on the Quest. And that is where I think the difference lies, because you can have a more powerful Quest 3 and there's already a bunch of games that might actually work standalone on this headset that don't work on the Quest 2. You're looking at least twice the power, you're looking at more RAM, you're looking at a much better headset. So there's a good chance that it's not going to take a very long time for some of these PC VR games that are just slightly too much for the Quest 2 to be ported to the Quest 3 and work surprisingly well. There are also some particular things that the Quest 3 will be able to do that the Quest 2 won't do. For example, mixed reality gaming is very limited on the Quest 2 because the pass-through is just awful. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not the worst pass-through available on a headset, but it isn't viable for playing games. The Meta Quest 3 is meant to have a very good pass-through, probably as good as the Quest Pro, potentially better. Alongside that, there's been a lot of mixed reality gaming teased by Mark Zuckerberg and all of his friends at Meta. So I think that's going to be a very heavy focus, especially from Meta, is going to be focusing on the mixed reality side of gaming as well as being able to offer the full immersion. Also, to bear in mind, the Quest 3 is just going to be a much nicer experience. You've got pancake lenses, which are just much clearer, nicer. You've got a higher resolution. You've obviously got the more power. You've got a better weight distribution on the headset. If you're looking to get a headset and you have the extra money, I would 100% recommend not buying the Quest 2 and getting the Quest 3. If you don't have the money, then the Quest 2 is a fantastic second option. But one big question that was going to be asked is that a lot of people in this community already have a Quest 2. If you're looking to get new customers and they don't have something, then yeah, obviously go get the new one because it's the better one. But if you have a Quest 2, should you upgrade? And this is where it gets a little bit difficult. Because the price of the Quest 2 has dropped, if you're going to sell your Quest 2, you're not going to get anywhere near as much money as you would have, let's say, a year ago. If you can buy one for $299, you're probably going to be looking at selling one, if it's in great condition, $250 maximum. You're looking more like $200, which again is going to be a fantastic thing for people who are looking at getting into VR. Getting a second-hand Quest 2 now is going to be a brilliant idea if you're not sure about going in and spending £500 for your first headset. But if you already have a Quest 2, are the benefits of the Quest 3 worth saying goodbye to your old friend and jumping in and going full force into this new headset? And I think it depends on what you're after. If you're really into VR and you want to sort of keep pushing the limits and getting into slightly better games, then yes, it probably would be worth it. If you want to experience mixed reality, if you want to make use of these new features, if you find the Quest 2 quite uncomfortable, then this is obviously going to be a better idea. But it just depends on your own personal circumstance. I feel like this is the case of all reviews, isn't it? It's like, is it worth upgrading my TV to the latest model? And in a lot of cases, the answer would be no. It just depends on your budget. If you're not in a position where you can spend that money, then you could probably hold off a little while. Should you buy this new headset at launch? I think maybe not. I don't think it's going to offer you necessarily loads of stuff straight out of the bat. I think maybe 6 months down the line, where more mixed reality gaming and more high-powered games have been ported down to this Quest 3, that's when it's actually going to be worth making the sort of cut. Before Christmas, potentially. But I would potentially wait until maybe next year. I think the other thing to bear in mind is that Black Friday and stuff like that coming up, is the Quest 2 going to go even cheaper? So if you're going to sell your Quest, do you want to do it early and then get the Quest 3 now? There's tons of things to factor in. I think ultimately the way it goes, it'll depend on what it's like when it comes out. If you actually want to see what this headset's like for a real human being and not just a sort of robot, this is the features, la da da da, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to get the headset. I'm going to do a full unboxing and review of the headset, so stick around so you can see that. I'm also getting quite active on X, formerly known as Twitter, so if you do want my sort of thoughts as they come and go about these particular type of things, about tech and gaming and virtual reality, go follow me there, because I'm planning on doing some giveaways as well. And if you want to get a chance of winning some stuff, I don't know what that stuff's going to be yet, go down there and follow me, and I'll see you there. And guys, comment down below when you think the right time to buy the Quest 3 will be. Will it be launch? Will it be near Christmas, Black Friday, or next year? Stick it in the comments below.